Hello, 8th grade. Welcome to Unit 6, Day 6 lesson. It is distance on the Pythagorean theorem. Our learning objective has changed from 8.7c to 8.7d because we are going to incorporate using the Pythagorean theorem to find the distance between 2 points on a coordinate plane. So, you're going to see some similarities in this lesson with finding slope, and you should, and I'll help you to distinguish the difference between the two. The figure in quadrant 1, which is located here in our image, shows us line segment MD. Find the length of that segment. So very similarly to what you did when we were doing our linear relationships unit, is you are going to draw a right triangle to find the legs. So you're going to do your rise and your run. You are then going to count the number of units. Starting at the top dot, we count each box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have an A of 6. We're going to repeat that by finding the distance for B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our A is 6 and our B is 6. Now very similarly to what you learned with rise over run, is you would put that as 6 over 6, and that would simplify to 1. So you would have a simplified slope of 1. Now, since it is decreasing, that is going to be a negative 1. Okay? So that's what we learned when we were doing our slope. Now let's see how it applies to Pythagorean theorem. Your legs, which are connected to your 90-degree corner, are A and B. So step 1, write your formula. Step 2, plug in your known values. Step 3, as you see it, key it. And then finally, find the square root of 72 and round to the nearest hundreds. Because once again, that are our instructions, is to round all of your answers to the nearest hundreds, which is going to be 2 numbers after the decimal. So, I hope that was easy and made sense. Let's move to the middle of the notes and do your next problem. Okay, so this time says, what is the distance between point B and R? So they have plotted point B and plotted point R. You need to connect the lines and draw your triangle. So first, draw a straight line. You can use a ruler if needed to connect points R and point B. This is C, your hypotenuse. Just like we did in the first problem, you are then going to draw straight lines to create your right triangle, and this is very similar to what we did with slope. Thirdly, you're going to count your units. So if you're starting at 3 and you stop at negative 2, you have ran or dropped 5. Now let's count your boxes to find the second leg. You're starting at negative 4 and ending at positive 4, which is a difference of 8. So you're going to take those dimensions and plug them into your Pythagorean theorem. 8 squared plus 5 squared. Add them to get the sum, and that gives you 89. Finally, take the square root of 89 to get a distance of 9 and 4,300 units. I would like for you to work this problem independently. You are going to find the distance between points K, 5, 5, and point A, 3, 5. Please remember in an ordered pair that X is listed first and Y is listed second. So those are the directions you're going to go when you are plotting your points. The x-axis runs left and right. The y-axis is up and down. Start at the origin when you are plotting points. If you have an x value of 5, you go to the right to positive 5. And your y value is positive 5, so you will go up, and that is where you will plot your first point. That looks a little different, is at K. Plot the second point connect the lines, draw your right triangle, and please plug them into the Pythagorean theorem. After you have found the distance of C, you may resume the video and check your answers, but pause the video now and complete the work independently. Okay, hopefully you got that C equaled 10, and I'm going to add a 0 because remember we are rounding to the nearest hundredths, so you should put that you have 10 and 20 hundredths units is going to be your final answer. Okay. We are rounding to the nearest hundredths, so you need to make sure that you have 2 numbers after the decimal and put your units of measure. So let's correct that. Okay, we are almost done. Let's scroll on down to the bottom half of your notes and complete lesson 6. Okay. If you needed more time to work through that problem and check your answers, just hit rewind and pause. Take as much time as you need working through this video. If you are confident with your work on the other 2 problems, let's go ahead and look at this last problem. Below is a map of Freeman Lake. Each point represents a boat on the water. Round your answers to the nearest hundredths. Please remember to do that. 2 numbers after the decimal. Find the distance between boat A and boat E on the coordinate plane. So I'm going to help you identify some points that you're looking for. Point A is located right here, and point E is located in quadrant 3. You are going to need to draw your straight line for your hypotenuse, then draw your right triangle to find your legs. After you find your legs, you're going to plug them into the Pythagorean theorem, square them, add them. Please finish working this problem to find C, the hypotenuse, and then I also want you to go ahead and do this next problem where you are converting to a half a mile. After you've completed the work, you may pause the video and check your answers, but work the problem, then check it. Okay, pause the video now. Okay, so the hypotenuse for the distance between boats A and boat E is 6.40 units. Please note that if one box is half a mile, you need to half the units. You can do that by dividing by 2 or multiplying by 0.5. So your final answer is going to be that 3 2/10 miles. Now once again, we should be rounding all of your answers to the nearest hundredths. So I'm going to add a 0 and put 3.20 miles is what we'll put right over that for our final answer. Okay, here is an example of how to work your last question. Pause the video and work through this problem. Pause the video now. When you have worked through the problem and it makes sense, resume the video. Okay, that concludes this lesson. Please make any notes on your paper and I'll be happy to work through all of that information with you and any questions that you have. I am available after school Tuesday and Wednesday until 4:30, and I'd be happy to help you either get caught up or to better understand the content. But that does conclude your lesson for today. Go ahead and move on to homework 6 and have a great day. Bye-bye.